The world had changed in ways we couldn't fathom. It started with whispers of unrest, escalating into roars of conflict that tore apart the fabric of society. Governments fell, economies collapsed, and chaos reigned supreme. We were unprepared for the collapse, but in its wake, we found ourselves facing a harsh reality. Survival was no longer guaranteed. In the early days, it was every person for themselves. The cities became battlegrounds, and those who were unprepared fell victim to the violence and desperation that consumed the streets. I was fortunate enough to have a small group of friends who shared my determination to survive. We banded together, scavenging what we could from the ruins of the world we once knew. Food was scarce, clean water even scarcer. We learned to rely on our instincts, trusting our senses to guide us through the desolation that surrounded us. But amidst the chaos, there were moments of clarity. We found solace in the quiet moments, gathered around a flickering fire as we shared stories of the world that once was. It was during those moments that we found hope, a glimmer of light in the darkness that threatened to consume us. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, we began to rebuild. It was a slow process, filled with setbacks and hardships, but we refused to give up. We planted crops in the barren earth, built shelters from the wreckage of the old world, and forged bonds that would withstand even the harshest of trials. Together, we faced the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that our survival depended on our strength and resilience. And though the road ahead was long and uncertain, we faced it with courage and determination, ready to rebuild the world from the ashes of the old. As we toiled to rebuild amidst the ruins, we encountered new challenges that tested our resolve. Nature itself seemed to conspire against us, with harsh weather and unforgiving landscapes presenting obstacles at every turn. The scorching sun beat down upon us, relentless in its intensity. We struggled to find shade, our bodies weary from the heat as we worked to tend to our meager crops. Water was scarce, and what little we could find was often contaminated, forcing us to ration our supplies and pray for rain. But when the rain finally came, it brought with it a new set of challenges. Torrential downpours flooded our makeshift shelters, threatening to wash away all that we had worked so hard to build. We scrambled to reinforce our defenses, salvaging what we could as the storm raged around us. Amidst the chaos, tempers flared and tensions ran high. The weight of our struggles bore down upon us, threatening to tear apart the fragile bonds that held our group together. But even in our darkest moments, we found strength in each other, drawing upon the resilience that had brought us this far. Slowly but surely, we adapted to the ever-changing landscape, learning to work with the elements rather than against them. We built irrigation systems to capture and conserve precious water, and reinforced our shelters to withstand the fury of the storms. As the seasons changed and the world around us began to shift, we found ourselves facing new opportunities for growth and survival. With each passing day, we grew stronger, more resilient in the face of adversity. And though the road ahead was still fraught with challenges, we faced it with unwavering determination, knowing that together, we could overcome anything. In the aftermath of the collapse, society fractured into countless factions, each vying for control over what little remained. We navigated this treacherous landscape with caution, wary of those who sought to exploit the chaos for their own gain. Some groups embraced violence and intimidation, preying upon the weak in their quest for power. Others sought to rebuild civilization from the ground up, forming alliances and communities based on mutual cooperation and respect. We encountered both allies and adversaries in equal measure as we ventured out into the wilderness, scavenging for supplies and forging connections with other survivors. Some welcomed us with open arms, offering food and shelter in exchange for our skills and labor. Others viewed us with suspicion, seeing us as nothing more than potential threats to their own survival. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, we remained steadfast in our determination to carve out a better future for ourselves and those who depended on us. We traded goods and knowledge with other survivors, building alliances that spanned across the fractured landscape. Yet, for every step forward, it seemed we were pushed 2 steps back. Resources grew scarcer with each passing day, and the specter of starvation loomed large on the horizon. We scavenged what we could from the ruins of the old world, but it was never enough to sustain us for long. As tensions continued to rise and conflicts erupted between rival factions, we found ourselves caught in the crossfire, forced to defend ourselves against those who would seek to destroy everything we had worked so hard to build. But through it all, we remained resolute, refusing to let despair consume us. For even in the darkest of times, there was still hope, hope for a better tomorrow, hope for a world reborn from the ashes of the old. And though the road ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty, we faced it with courage and determination, ready to fight for the future we believed in. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty, we searched for meaning amidst the rubble of the old world. We found purpose in the act of rebuilding, in the small moments of kindness and camaraderie that sustained us through the darkest of times. As we worked to cultivate the land and rebuild our communities, we discovered a renewed sense of purpose, a reason to keep pushing forward even when the odds seemed stacked against us. We planted seeds of hope in the barren earth, nurturing them with care and determination, knowing that they held the key to our survival. But our efforts were not without their challenges. As we struggled to rebuild, we encountered resistance from those who sought to maintain the status quo, who clung to the vestiges of power and authority that had once defined the old world. Yet, even in the face of adversity, we refused to be deterred. We banded together, drawing strength from the bonds of friendship and solidarity that united us in our quest for a better future. We shared our knowledge and skills, pooling our resources to overcome whatever obstacles stood in our way. And as we worked tirelessly to rebuild our communities from the ground up, we found solace in the knowledge that we were not alone. Across the fractured landscape, others like us were fighting their own battles, struggling to survive in a world that seemed determined to tear itself apart. But amidst the chaos and despair, there were moments of joy and triumph, the first sprouts of green breaking through the barren earth, the laughter of children playing in the streets, the shared sense of purpose that bound us together as we worked to forge a new beginning from the ashes of the old. For in the midst of destruction, we found hope for a world reborn, where compassion and cooperation triumphed over greed and selfishness. And though the road ahead was long and fraught with peril, we faced it with courage and determination, knowing that together, we could overcome anything. After years of struggle and perseverance, we stood on the precipice of a new era. The world around us bore the scars of its tumultuous past, but amidst the ruins, we found the seeds of a brighter future. Our communities had grown and flourished, fueled by the unwavering determination of those who refused to surrender to despair. We had rebuilt not just our homes, but our lives, creating a world where compassion and cooperation were valued above all else. But our journey was far from over. As we looked to the horizon, we saw new challenges on the horizon, challenges that would test our resolve and push us to our limits. Yet, we faced them with courage and determination, knowing that the bonds we had forged in the crucible of adversity would see us through even the darkest of times. And so, as we stood on the threshold of a new dawn, we embraced the future with open arms, ready to write the next chapter in the story of our survival. For though the road ahead was uncertain, we faced it together, united in our quest to build a world worthy of those who had come before us. And as the sun rose on a new day, we looked to the future with hope in our hearts, knowing that as long as we stood together, there was nothing we could not overcome. For we were survivors, builders, architects of a new world, and nothing could stand in our way.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more stories. Until next time, take care and keep watching.